Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode. I am really happy you were joining today. Today, we're doing something very different. This is a first time ever episode for me. I had a while ago sent out an email to all my subscribers who follow my newsletter, and I had asked if there was anyone out there who would or does feel brave enough to do a session and have it recorded and share on the podcast. I had a such client come through and felt so inclined to do so. And so I am here introducing part of this session. First of all, I want to say that, I want to give a huge thank you to this client. Thank you, Crystal, for coming on and uh, allowing this level of vulnerability and being brave enough to share it. I know, especially when you all learn what comes through in her session of how healing this act is going to be for her. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that this session was quite long, so we broke it into two parts. So today you're going to hear the first part of the session, the first half. And in it, it is exactly a session of any of my clients coming in. This particular client I have never read for before. This is the first time that we connected on this level. So you are seeing everything for the first time as she and I did. And in this first part, you'll see and what it's like to connect intuitively. So it's the intuitive healing in this part, as well as connecting with a loved one. I hope you enjoy.
Yep.
Um, so for me, for this session and what to expect is I, 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 I receive information intuitively. So I am just reading energy. I can feel it. I can sense it. Um, I am open to mediumship also, which just means I can receive information and messages from past loved ones, from your spirit guides. I can receive and also get into past lives if that is what's meant to come in, or even pre-life planning, if it is all part of what is best for you. Every session, and especially for yours, as I come in and I'm connecting, I set the intention on this space that you are receiving messages that are for your best and highest good, for what you need right now in your current journey
Thank
out
you.
of love and healing. Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing scary comes through. There is nothing that's going to be a big surprise or anything like that because it's everything that you're actually needing right now.
Okay.
Okay. If you have questions, feel free to ask.
Mhm.
Just keep them limited for the moment. I promise I will
Yep.
open it up and you will
I'm
have
I'm good right now.
full, okay,
I want
full
to
experience.
I want to just experience it and let it flow right now. So,
Okay.
I
So
mean, I feel like crying already, but it's just me.
that's okay. It's probably because you're feeling the energy, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
there are things bubbling to the surface.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and start because what happens before we connect is during my meditation um, process, I open up and I'm connecting to your energy at that time. So at the end of it, I'm getting impressions. I like to do that before I sit and I see this person or I meet my client and I'm getting all of these full impressions. Usually it's just energy that's like on the top of the surface, what's boiling to the surface for you. And so some of these come out in images because I also receive clairvoyantly. So I can see faces and people, and I can see almost like playing movies or memories coming through. And I will
Mhm.
give you everything that I see. I also am clairsentient. I can feel emotions. I can claircognizant. I just that feeling of knowing. I can hear things too. Usually, these are not voices that anybody else hears. This is in your mind. Um, and the thing about this is I bring messages forward, especially on the mediumship side, just so you know, that none of us are 100% accurate. We are literally trying to translate energy that is coming in. I never understand anything that's coming through because the messages are not for me. So I'm going to give you the
Exactly.
literal meaning and then I will give you my understanding about it if it's not connecting. So,
Okay.
Crystal. When I started connecting with your energy, I actually was receiving information more coming in words. These are coming in words and feelings. And so immediately what I was getting when I am just connected with you, I, there were these words. The first two words, and these were big words for you, was about connection and hope. To me, this is about you looking, oh, I'm getting chills already. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get chills, and this is kind of like this validating moment. I
Yep.
swear, it's almost like the other side has a button that they get to know how to push. Like, oh,
Yep.
you're right on. Yes. And then
Right.
suddenly these like massive, like, ooh, like burst of energy in me. Okay. This connection and this hope, it to me, it feels in the sense that you're looking for something. You're looking for acceptance, that you're looking for a place. It almost like literally the word home comes up. You're looking for
Yep.
home.
Yep.
It feels as if you've been through this long process of finding yourself, because this feels like it's been a journey. You are, and like you feel really comfortable. That bear with me in this description, because it's this feeling that I'm trying to describe. And I'm looking at my notes here. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I took notes when I was feeling this. I felt as if you were trying to, that you have been finding yourself. And it feels really good. It feels like it's been really good. Like you've been through the trials of like the whole awakening process, where it has been the battles of fighting yourself and
Hi.
finding yourself, right? We're
Yep.
letting go of all these false beliefs. You feel really good about that. But while you are finding yourself and you're feeling good in that, I feel as if there's been this huge imbalance though in life. Like you feel so good, but the rest of life around you, like it's just as if the more you're feeling in alignment with you, it feels as if this like reverse magnet, everything's being pushed away.
Yeah.
Like everyone runs away from you. No one understands you. And then
Yep.
again, it feels like as if it's triggering for you when this happens, because, but you feel good. You know, you're connecting with your deepest and truest self, but no one is understanding this. And so this feels like this big piece that of how you're trying to find your place. Where do you fit in? How is this supposed to be this magnificent, you're this magnificent being and you feel it, but how does it connect with the world around you, and how does it connect with life? Because it feels as if you have, like, that there's a big meaning, you have a meaning, you have a purpose.
Mhm.
And I know what this feels like because I personally feel this too. So I'm telling you, in this whole sense of, there's like this boiling energy and you feel this bigness, like you're supposed to do something, you're supposed to make a difference, you're supposed to, it's about change.
Right.
But the more you try to align in that and try to be this authentic self, it's as if everything just falls apart and it doesn't make
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
So I'm assuming I'm making sense to you. Okay.
100%. Yes.
Okay. So I have another piece here, and this is all before we connected, right before we connected. One of the other things that I do is right before I connect with a client, I have this jar of beautiful little crystals. I love it.
I love Kristen.
These crystals in here, I have one that represents each of the seven main chakras.
Okay.
I like to take a blind grab, and meaning I'm closing my eyes, I put my hand in the jar, and it's always about it's really the chakra. Where is the energy blocked? What is that energy just bursting that's either trying to find movement or trying to find balance? And so, what I chose for you and what's going on for you today, I have sodalite. So,
Okay.
this is connected to your throat
Sure.
chakra. Okay.
Validate.
Good. Because I also
Validate.
like to, because I believe I'm assuming, do you know about chakras?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I like to still just go over what this chakra is, because it just
Yep.
brings, again, more validation and meaning. Because sometimes when I'm explaining it, I can feel little pieces that are very much connected for you, which I feel
Okay.
I already know what this is, but I'm going to go through it.
Yep.
So, and just so you know, I have my handy dandy notebook here. This is my own personal notes for my chakras, because
I got one too.
we get into it. Okay. So the throat chakra is actually the chakra of communication. This is about our self-expression. This is about our truths, our inner truths, and speaking those. Um, when this chakra is in balance, this person is able to express themselves. They can also understand others easily. They can speak their truth and their knowledge, and they're able to listen to the inner voice and trust their intuition. I do feel this very much out of balance for you. Yes.
Yep.
When it is not in balance, this person is fearful of being judged. They're not able to express themselves.
Yep.
They're not being heard, and even to the far other end of arrogance. And so, with this, though, I do feel, again, this has to do, and that was with the other note I had here, and that's why I knew I had to say this part here. It's about fear, this fear of being judged, this fear of expressing yourself, because the more you have done it, and as you are finding this alignment into yourself or for yourself, again, no one is understanding. And it's as if you were just pushing the world away from you rather than having the beautiful energy that is supposed to support you. Because I feel like you know it. I'm supposed to have this beautiful community and they're supposed to get me. But that fear is huge for you. Okay, huge. So much that it's hindering you because you are now going back to old ways of editing things of how you're supposed to act and be, which is not aligned with who you are because you're so afraid of losing more or being judged or all those other factors.
Yep.
So you're trying to keep yourself safe.
Yep.
And when we do that and we try to keep ourselves so safe, we put ourselves back in that tiny little box of where we started before we go through that experience of finding ourselves and we find that alignment.
Yep.
And what happens when we start finding ourselves and we start awakening into that process and then we try to put ourselves back in, now we have some really big emotional and mental health problems when that happens.
Yeah.
Because now we know what it feels like to be ourselves. And when we put ourselves in that box, we start making ourselves physically ill.
Yep.
We're having some very low times. And when I say low times, we're talking now our self-defeating thoughts come back in. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve anything, right? And so these are the things that you were trying to work on and how we try to heal ourselves. And then when we feel so much pressure on the outside world, we're pushing it back in, right? But
Yep.
that's how we have lived in society. That's how we've been programmed that when we don't feel safe, we need to go back into this tiny box and then we have to fit to this mold that society expects.
Yep.
Then there we go. The stress, the anxiety, all of those other pieces are heightened, overwhelmed, and now we're in depression. And now we're going back to where we started and actually even worse because we know what the other side looks like now.
Yep.
Okay. So, one side note for you, Crystal, is that even though I'm bringing these pieces up and we're skimming the surface here, this is just the first half of what your session is our face to face here. I'm bringing these things up, but I'm not going to leave it with you and say, now go figure it out. Okay.
Right.
That's not what this is about. That the second half is about a I I take another separate time, another hour of creating this purposeful, individualized, almost like homework. Okay, this is your healing guidance that will help you with these pieces that come up. That I'm going to help get you kickstarted in your self healing journey. So at least you know where to start and you can start working on. Okay, and so you'll see me. I'm going to start making notes. So just so you know, I make notes. Two things happen. It helps me focus, and I need this for your guidance later. So
Okay.
okay, okay. So, Crystal, as we are moving on here, I feel things adjusting. So, what's happening is that while I just went through all of these pieces, this is the intuitive as I'm reading your energy. I feel it all shifting as if now we're going to be going across the veil because I feel as if you have messages coming in. So, just sit with me for a minute. It's very interesting. It's like an old school TV, rabbit antennas, those antennas, or an old school radio dial. We have to find the frequencies to match. So how that works too, which is important to understand, is I have to raise my frequency and my vibration, right? We live on this earth, it's really dense, it's heavy. And so I have to raise it really high because our loved ones, and when our loved ones leave the body, they're all so high vibrating because they're not in this dimension anymore. So they have to lower theirs and I have to raise mine. And
Hmm.
so, and each individual energy has their own frequency. So every time I switch, it's like a readjustment. So
Okay.
we'll get there. Okay, Crystal. Um, I am stronger in bringing forth personalities. It's usually the most validating piece as we get going. Just know that all the details I am bringing through, they're never 100% accurate. So if I say one thing that throws it off and you don't know who it is, sometimes I've said the wrong gender, but every other detail fits. Please go to who you feel it is. I can't tell you who it is, but it's who you feel. Okay. Um, Let me see. Oh, Okay. What I want to go, this feels like a feminine energy. So to me, this feels older. I want to go, this to me feels like it may be like a grandmother type energy. Um, Yeah, we're going older than you, and it feels female, as in a connection. What's interesting here is that as I'm starting to see her and feel her, I'm I don't know if you kind of look like her, because I'm seeing similarities, because there's something about I keep seeing like your face, but it's like older. So I don't know if you had some similarities there. Let's see. Let me keep going. So it comes in pieces. So let's see. Just taking notes helps me focus. Let me get pieces here. Okay. Uh, There's something about the way that she carries herself or her body. So I'm trying to understand this. So what I'm it feels as if she had a slower movement. There was something about, I don't know if she had like hunched over a little bit. Or there's something about it. I don't know if she needed a walker. I'm not sure, but it just seems like she had a harder time moving. So she was a little bit slower
Yes.
paced, or like trying to grab, I don't know, maybe onto things or a walker. I'm not sure. But I am seeing that. But I feel like this is an important factor we're going to talk about, that she's bringing this up for a reason. Let's see here. Let me keep going. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm getting a physical sensation right now. It's in my teeth. So I don't know if anything happened. It's like in the back of my, oh my gosh, there's like the back of my mouth, my teeth. It hurts. So um the meaning of this, sometimes they'll bring this through because it was an ailment they went through or something. So I don't know if she was maybe had dental problems or had something going on in here, or I don't know, missing teeth, or had like toothaches
Yeah.
and had to have things removed, or it was just a constant issue. Um, are you following me right now? Is this making
Or yeah.
sense at all? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep going here. I feel like we have some more pieces, but because I'm going to bring more validating pieces in for you just to make sure you understand that you know who this person is. But while I'm doing that, I feel like she has such some big messages that she wants to share with you, because I need to share this. But hopefully this will make sense too. When we pass, or when our loved ones pass, when we leave our bodies, when we cross over, we leave the ego behind. This human experience of living here on earth is for the ego experience. We all have it, right? So the ego is where we hold the harsh judgments. This is where we hold on to anger. This is where we feel shame and guilt and fear, all of those things. We do not carry that with us when we leave, because that's the ego. So we leave the ego behind. And when we do that, we get this larger perspective and we start to see and understand everything. Meaning we start to understand and see how our behaviors or our limited vision or our limited perspectives affect our lives and the lives of those around us, right? So, however some may have acted in life, they have a different perspective when they come through on here. And she wants to, I have to make sure that I explain that to you, because it feels again that she lived a life a certain way, but she wants to talk about it from a higher perspective.
Okay.
She wants to talk about something because of the way that she lived, or the way that she may have taught others to have lived, because there was something about it in here. It was about, okay, sorry, there's so much right now, and I'm trying to find
Mhm.
piece one. I can't say it all at once. That's how it's all coming in. Okay. It is, oh my gosh, there's so much, and there's so much she wants to tell you and bring in, because let's start here. Let's start with choices, right? So we have choices. She's like, I've made so many choices in my life. And it was like she wants you to understand, like she needs to take accountability for her choices. Like that's what she's trying to do right now. The choices she made in her life left a uh this wavelength of energy behind. for family. Wavelength, meaning people had to deal with the choices she had made or not made. So it feels like we lived a certain way. We didn't know how to get out of this like heaviness or this lifestyle. And I'm not sure what she's getting to at this point because it feels like so many things. So whether it was um like finances and working and providing for herself or taking care of herself physically and feeding like the right foods or like mental health or whether it was she didn't know how to process emotions or the mental health part, so maybe she was more into substances, so she went towards the substance side. So we're medicating now because we don't know how to deal with it, and when that happens it changes our personality. She's like, and so
Mhm.
then it was even more different. So when I was challenged in some way or someone tried to put or tried to make her accountable in some way, it would have been a blow up situation. Like you don't know what you're talking about. And it would have been really bad, causing rifts in the family. And
Mhm.
so while she dealt with things this way, it would have taught others in the family to deal with issues in the same manner. So therefore, we're following a trail now, right? So and it's probably the way that she was taught or had seen things being taken care of in that way too. Because she's talking about this in choices, because the other huge factor that she's trying to bring in here for you is that she sees it. First of all, she sees it. In this moment, she wants to tell you she wants to take accountability and she wants to take all of that away from you. She said, "Let me take that back." That was my, those were my challenges and my choices that I made. And it's time because she wants to take it back because there's a bigger reason. And this is the other part of it, because it is about now breaking these generational lines. And that is why it is even extra hard on you. And she's coming through because she's trying to give you space to breathe. She's trying to take back a pile of energy of this old family generational energy that was put on you. She said, it's not yours. It is no longer yours, nor should it ever, never should have been. This is what she's saying. And it's very interesting because she's saying this as if this is a part of your purpose, Crystal. Because by healing yourself and facing these fears and these really hard facts, especially dealing with family and breaking these lines, it's going to be one of the hardest challenges you have to do.
Has
She
been.
goes, but this right here, and I feel like you know it. I can feel it so much that you know it, that if you can break these lines and you can find that beautiful, like just find yourself and find that worthiness and find that, it's like find that, it's not even that fight because it's not about fighting, but just getting that passion and finding the strength, right? We're going to hold on to that strength to know that, no, that my past and my family's past does not define me anymore,
Yep.
that I can break these shackles, breaking these shackles, breaking down these walls that were created before me
Yep.
so that I can make breathing room for me and for everyone behind you,
Yep.
every generational line behind you. This is how powerful this is. And
Yep.
even though I know and you might be thinking, well, I have this big energy. I feel like I'm supposed to make this massive difference. Thing is that by doing your own
Is that.
personal healing, and affecting your family like that, if you can break generational lines, Crystal, this is a huge domino effect of what it creates in energy. This is a burst of positive energy and getting rid of another layer of this heaviness.
Yep.
Because this I have to bring this up because this feels like it's an important factor to like understand in this thing about in the schools, right? We're going back to school right now, and our kids are going, and sometimes we're afraid, like I don't know, like this bullying thing keeps coming up, or we have these kids in school that we're worried about because they pick on these other kids and everything like that.
Yep.
Those bullies in those kids, they're usually coming from families and backgrounds where it's a perpetuating cycle. They don't
Yep.
know any other way to deal with it. And so when we start taking accountability, and then it teaches our children and all these other generations, it's showing others like there's another way.
Yep.
And it's taking away this layer of heaviness, right? So now your children, your children's children, nieces, nephews, we're talking generational lines. Now in the future, when they're going back, they're not bringing that extra heavy energy into the pack. That's huge. And now it stops this, again, this other domino effect happening because what if because of that heaviness, they had no idea how to deal with emotions, right? So we burst it and throw it on everybody else. But now all those other kids that maybe if we didn't break it, all those kids that would have been affected, we get to take all that. And that's a line that we just stopped.
Right.
And if more people are doing it, this is how we are changing the frequency of this entire planet. This is how we bring peace on earth is by taking the responsibility for ourselves. And this is insanely powerful, Crystal, because this woman who is coming through is taking back hers. It is such a powerful moment that you were drawn to me in this moment for her to come through and to say, Crystal, I'm taking mine away. She is starting it on the other side by saying, I'm taking this away now to give you, to allow you more breathing space to deal with these other pieces so you can remove that fear and remove that ugly unworthiness to
Yep.
think that you don't deserve certain things because you're afraid of what people look at because of the way people looked at her or other things. And it's all been kind of pushed down on you.
Right.
It's time to let it go.
Yep.
It's time to, hold on, I'm trying to find the reference here. There's a message and I'm trying to understand this reference. It, it, it feels alignment with like a superhero of some sort. Like you're like, I don't even know which one it is. I don't know if it's like Wonder Woman we're talking about or Superwoman, but she's like, but you are that. And you get to stand out in this different line. It's kind of like this Clark Kent thing. Like you can be that superhero all the time and you don't have to hide under another identity because you're afraid of what others may think or because it may diminish your power if everybody knew. Yours is in reverse. You can wear your suit all the time. But the key to healing it and being able to do that and removing that fear is to start working here on knowing that you deserve to be you, that you are worthy of expressing yourself in any way that you choose to. And then the people who do not get you, they're the ones that do not match a frequency. You have to understand that as we are healing and as we are finding ourselves, authenticity is one of the highest frequencies you can get on. It's up there with love.
Right.
It is up there. And when you start finding that authentic part, there are so many people out there that are like, ooh, oh, it's uncomfortable for them to be around it because it's such a high frequency that it's it it's too much for them.
Right.
Sometimes we have to allow space for those around us to either move up with us, and some of them will. They're going to love what you're doing because you're becoming your best self. You're happier, you are lighter, and they like being around that more. And what happens when we do that, either the people around you are going to love and respect that and be like, whatever she's doing, like, I need more of that. Now you're
Right.
inspiring how to do human. Like, that's what we're doing as human beings. We have no idea what we're doing. We are watching everyone around us. How are they doing it? Right. Or we're watching how do we need to get in our comfort boxes because we're just going to sit there. We know that we're safe and what to expect in this comfort box. Right. So no one is pointing their finger at us and we're not the highlight anymore. We can kind of hide back in there. But when we can, sorry, it just shifted on me. Hold on. Shifting. I guess we're going to come back to that. Bear with me. Okay, we're shifting because someone else is coming in. Sorry. So it's a big shift.